I hate to say it, but you've been lied to repeatedly. And those lies, they could be costing you thousands of dollars or potentially your dream home. In this video, I am blowing the lid off of the 10 lies that you've been told about buying a home. And these are lies that are keeping people broke and confused. So let's get started. You know I'm going to tell you how it is. That's just my nature. I am tired of hearing about home buyers that are being misled by misinformation and myths about buying a home. As I mentioned before, this could cost buyers a lot of money. You know, I am here to educate you, to help you be an advocate when you're buying a home and even selling a home. So let's uncover these 10 lies right now.
You are a lying liar who lies.
All right, the first lie we're going to talk about is buying is better than renting. Yeah. And I understand this whole thought process that they say, you know, it's better to own a home, to pay your mortgage because you do have the benefit of, you know, writing off the interest for your taxes and also your property taxes, all of that stuff. However, a recent study that was done by Bankrate, they're finding that in most markets in this country right now that it is cheaper to rent versus buying. It is. So wherever you live, if this is something you're struggling with, you know, compare, look at what the rents are going for, and then you can talk to a lender to get an idea of what a mortgage payment would be. So yeah, it's not always cheaper to buy. In some cases, it still is. I've had some people come on here and comment that they were renting, they found a house, the mortgage ended up being cheaper. So there are still, in some cases, that is still happening. But as of right now, yeah, it's not always the case. Renting could be cheaper than buying. Another thing I want to mention also is that if you're the type of person that can't stay put for more than 3 or 5 years and you have to move, buying a home is not a good thing for you. It's actually going to cost you more money. Why? Because you have the expense of selling the home. If you're going to hire a real estate agent, you got to pay the commission. Then you got to pay the taxes, such as capital gains. Also, if you're in a state where you have a real estate transfer tax, I believe most states have to charge those taxes, you have to pay that too. So it could cost you a lot of money selling the home. You know, after just owning it for a few years and turning around and selling it, you're going to be out a lot of money. And there's also the chance that you don't have that much equity in the home. So you're not going to be gaining much of a profit when you go to sell it. Again, renting may be the better option. It may be cheaper. Number 2, your pre-approval interest rate will be the rate that you're going to close with.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how many people have been misled by this, right? People will go on to those online mortgage services and they'll see these ridiculous rates and think, oh my God, I want to take advantage of that. So they'll go ahead and they'll get pre-approved. Which, okay, they're like, this is great. I got this low rate. But then once you get to the process, okay, you're under contract and you go through underwriting and they start digging deep into your finances and your credit. If your credit isn't stellar, guess what? That's going to impact your interest rate and you're going to end up paying a higher rate. Case in point, I had a client several years ago. They were literally going through an approval process. They were under contract on a house. They were talking to a big name bank and a local lender. And they were going to make their decision at the end as to which one they were going with to service their loan. And I am dead serious. They were promised a lower rate by the big bank. The local lender was a little bit higher of a rate. Okay, fine. So they went through the whole process only to find out at the end, the big bank had some fine print where there was, I guess, an issue with the person's credit. And they said because of that, and I think because he owned a business, they looked into some of the deeper into the finances and they ended up charging him a higher rate. Now, the local lender was able to actually stay at that rate that they promised, believe it or not. So who did they go with? They went with the local lender. So read the fine print. Do not bank on the fact that what you were quoted on your pre-approval of what we were told that, yeah, we got an awesome rate and this is what we're closing with. And that doesn't happen. Also, interest rates fluctuate by the day. When you're going through the process, once you're under contract, your lender's going to lock you in. So once you're locked in, that is going to be your final rate. But again, what you're quoted in the beginning is going to be different at the end. Just be aware of that. Number 3, I love this one. You need to put 20% down. No, you don't. You don't have to put 20% down. Now, in some competitive markets, is it better to have more money down? Yeah, it is, because when you're competing against other buyers, it makes you look stronger financially, and the sellers feel that you have more skin in the game. But that's not always the case. It's not always the case. Look, it depends, right? I just met a young man yesterday who told me he bought a house last year here in Jersey in this competitive market, and he only had to put 5% down. I was like, how the heck did you do that? But he did it. He put 5% down. Now, over the years, I have helped buyers who put 3% down. They were doing an FHA loan. I helped a veteran that was putting 0% down, because on VA loans, you don't have to put any money down. So it is possible. So don't get this number stuck in your head. I need 20%. You don't have to. Now, you will be paying more money, right? The less money you put down, the higher your mortgage payment's going to be. And you also have private mortgage insurance on top of that when you're putting less than 20% down. But that mortgage insurance does go away when you're about 5-7 years into the loan and you have some equity in the home. But if you only got 3% down, you only got 5%, that's what you got. You can do it. You can put that down. You don't have to have 20%. Lie number 4. This is another good one. You'll save money by buying a fixer-upper.
Hey, buddy, did you really buy this house?
Yes, I did.
People get this in their head like, oh, well, I don't care if that house is $300,000 or $200,000. It's fine. I can fix it up myself. And I had this vision of how I want it to look. They get all these great ideas and they think, I'm going to fix it up myself. In recent years, the cost of materials and labor have skyrocketed. So in the end, you could potentially be spending way more money than you had budgeted for. And another thing I warned buyers about is that, yeah, this is great if you have a vision, but once you start knocking down walls, ripping up floors, you don't know what's behind those walls, and you could be walking into more problems. That's going to cost you more money. I always tell people, when you have your budget for your renovations, add another 20% on top of that, because I guarantee you're going to run into some snags where you're going to have to fix something else that you weren't planning on. So no, buying a fixer-upper is not the cheaper option. No, it's not always. Now, look, there are some people that are very handy and they can do the work themselves. But for the most part, you are going to have to bring in licensed professionals, an electrician, contractor, plumber. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a lot of money. So don't fall for that one, that the fixer-upper is the cheaper option. It's not. Lie number 5. I love this one. You don't need a real estate agent. You can just use Zillow and you can do it yourself.
Welcome. I'm Carolyn Burnham. This living room is very dramatic. Wait till you see the native stone fireplace.
Now, look, I'm not opposed to anybody representing themselves, whether you're selling or buying. Look, if you want to do it, go for it. But if you're new at this and you're buying a home and you want to be unrepresented because you don't want to pay a buyer agent commission, okay, that's fine. But here's the thing. It's going to end up costing you more money if you're not familiar with negotiating, or if you're not familiar with, what are red flags in a home and what you should be asking for as far as repairs go. A 20% agent is going to have your back, and they're going to be your advocate, and they're going to help handle all the negotiating. So yeah, I know you're all like,
Again, here she is promoting real estate agents again.
but yeah, I am promoting real estate agents because that is our job. We're here to help you get the best deal, to get you the best price and terms on your purchase. And speaking of real estate agents, did you know I offer a free service where I can help find you a real estate agent in your market, whether you're buying or selling a home? Yeah. Scan this QR code right here, or you can click the link down below and you fill out the forms, and I will get back to you with an agent in your market. Another little side note, if you're here in Northern New Jersey and you would like to work with myself and my team, again, whether you're buying or selling a home, there's a separate link down below. Please click on that, fill out your information, and I will be happy to set up a Zoom consultation with you. Moving on to lie number 6. The home inspection will find everything that's wrong with the house. No! I love this one. People go in thinking, yep, home inspector is going to tell us all the ins and outs about this house. Now, yeah, they will tell you a majority of the things that are going on with the house, but they don't know what's going on behind the walls or underneath the floors. So this is something that you need to get into your head. If you have a good inspector, yeah, they're going to look at the major components of the house. They're going to point certain things out that they feel could be potential problems. Home inspectors are also there to educate you about the home. One of the inspectors that I've worked with for years, he does an amazing job showing people how to operate, like say the furnace, the AC. He shows them where the emergency shutoff is for the furnace, for the electric panel, all those things, right? An inspector should be doing that for you as well. But do not expect them to find every little thing that's wrong with the house. They're just not. So that's just another big lie. Okay, number 7. This is another good one. A 30-year fixed rate mortgage is always the best choice when it comes to mortgages. Maybe not.
Is it true?
Lately, I'm seeing a lot of buyers take advantage of ARM loans, also known as adjustable rate mortgages. I know everyone's like, oh, they get all freaked out because back in 2006, a lot of people had these ARM loans and things did not work out so well for them. An adjustable rate mortgage it's a loan where you will have a fixed rate for a period of time. And then once you hit that end of that time period, the rate can then adjust either if it's higher or lower. And then your monthly payment's going to change. So this is what freaks people out. Right now, the ARM loans that are out there could potentially save home buyers thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. Now, again, I'm not a mortgage expert. You need to talk to your mortgage lender about this option. But I'm seeing ARM loans where it's a 7-1 or even a 10-1, where you're at that fixed rate for 7 or 10 years. And then it'll adjust at the end of those periods. They could be a great option again, but this is something you need to talk to your lender about. I'm putting that out there. I'm not a mortgage lender. This is an option that could potentially save you more money versus going with a 30-year fixed rate loan. So don't fall for that lie. Number 8, real estate always goes up in value. Oh my God, I love this one. Yeah, tell that to the people who bought houses prior to 2008. Now look, just let's be serious here. Now, does real estate appreciate in value over time? Yeah, it does. It does. Are there going to be dips in the market? Absolutely. We're seeing that now. We're seeing a lot of markets go through a correction, but it doesn't mean your value is going to tank. You know, it will eventually go up. People have this notion that, especially in this market, that like, oh, I bought a house, it's just, you know, my value is just going to go up like the market's been doing the past few years. No, it's not. And get the thought out of your head that this is like the stock market, because I get that a lot too. People go on Zillow and they see the Zestimates, and if they see that the Zestimate's higher, they're like, oh, look at that, my value shot up. Or if the Zestimate goes down, they're freaking out. They're like, oh my God, the value's going down and I'm losing money. No, this is not the stock market. Real estate appreciates over a period of time. That's just how it goes. So, but does it always appreciate in value? It does over time, a long period of time. There will be dips along the way. Once you have that in your head, you won't freak out when you see the Zestimate go below what you even paid for. It's just ignore it. Ignore it. Lie number 9, you have to get the loan from the lender who pre-approves you.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Guess what? You don't. You don't. You shop out the rates. Tell people this every single time. You don't have to go with the bank or the lender that pre-approved you. If you find that you can find a better rate, you want to go with that bank or that lender, sure, go ahead, go for it. You don't have to commit to them. Here's an example. When we first bought our house, we went through our bank. We have been doing business with our bank forever. But when it came down to when we were actually buying our house, our realtor at the time actually said, hey, you know, what rate did your bank quote you? And we told her what we were quoted. And she said, you know what, you want to talk to my lender because he might be able to beat that rate. And we're like, oh, why not? We ended up talking to a couple of different lenders. We're like, oh, you know, what are we doing? We don't have to go with our bank. So we ended up going with the local lender because he was able to beat our bank's rate. So no, you don't have to stay with the person who pre-approves you. Don't feel obligated that you have to stick with them. If you find a better rate, go on with that lender that has the better rate. Okay, lie number 10. Owning a home will make you feel successful.
Things you own end up owning you.
Yeah, the people have been told that. Like, this is what you have to do. You have to own a home. You don't have to own a home. You don't have to buy a home to feel successful. If you buy the right home, yeah, you're going to feel successful, right? Because going out and just buying a home for the heck of it to say, hey, I'm a homeowner, I bought a home, and then you're going to be saddled with debt, you're going to have all this stress with the maintenance, and you're going to be overwhelmed financially. How is that successful? It's not successful. Being successful is you have the money saved, you are financially ready to take on the responsibility of paying a mortgage, and most importantly, you chose the right house for you. To me, that is what's successful. Not just going out and buying any old home to say, hey, I'm somebody now. I'm successful. I bought a house. No, it doesn't work that way. Big fat lie. Don't fall for that one. So don't believe the lies, my friends. Always consult with an experienced real estate agent and lender. Should you come across anything that you're doubtful about, you're not fully understanding, super important to be aligned with a good agent and a good lender. And one more thing. Did you know that there are cheats that sellers will do to hide major flaws in their house? Oh yeah, they're out there. As a matter of fact, I talk about 10 of them in this video right here. I highly recommend that you go on and watch that one. Thank you so much for watching me today to get your dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time.